this is Grace Power with My Gold Sugar, and this is going to be the first video on a series of 10 videos. This first video I'm going to be talking about the firm and the medium firm sugars, which are our most popular sugars by far, mainly because they're the easiest to start with, and we get a lot of orders from people who have never tried sugaring before and this is their first time. So most of the orders that seem to come through a lot of the time are for firm and medium firm. So I really wanted to spend some time and explain why these are the top choices. So one of the main things is that the firm is going to be thicker. It's made to be used in the paste method, which if you've seen some of my YouTube videos, that's the main method that I like to use. And that's where you have a ball of sugar in your hand and you're rolling it on the skin and then flicking it off the skin. And then you can keep reusing that ball over and over and over. So the firm is the most firm consistency, so it's going to be less likely to melt while you're using it. And when you're first learning, people just have a tendency to be putting a lot of heat into the sugar. Maybe they're putting it on really hard, a lot of pressure, a lot of friction, or they're just getting it more down in their hands, so their hands are heating it up more. And so the firm is just easier. It's a little more forgiving when you're first learning. As you get more advanced and you're doing it a lot, you may find that the firm is actually too firm to work with, because it is firmer, it's harder on your hands. So if you're doing a lot of sugaring, it can be a little bit harder work for your hands to work with. So we'll talk more about the softer sugars in the next video, but the firm is also the best one for coarse hair and for also doing the hot spots of the body, or even just more hot temperatured people in general. But for women, it tends to be for the underarms and the bikini line area, or the whole Brazilian area, and of course the butt area as well. Those are just the hot spots of the body, and so the firm is not going to melt like the softer sugars will. It'll hold its consistency. So if you're doing the paste method, that's going to be the easiest to work with. And for some reason, the firm actually does grab coarse hair a little bit better too. So on the underarms and bikini areas, that tend to be the thicker, coarser hairs, and that's going to work really well for that. So I will mention as well that the firm is also, it could be ideal for men's chest hair, because chest hair can also be that same type of coarse, thick hair. So if that's the type of hair that you have, you may find that the firm works well. Plus, chests are a little more, they do tend to have more heat. You know, it's closer to the heart, so it tends to be a hot spot compared to like legs or arms. So the firm will also not melt as quickly on like doing a chest. And that about wraps it up. Oh, I should mention the medium firm is just slightly less firm than the firm. So that's why we give that option, because the firm is, you know, the most firm one. So that's going to be, it can just be a little bit too firm as you advance. So the medium firm is going to be slightly less firm. It's actually my preferred one. When I used to do Brazilians, that was the one that I preferred, because it still held its consistency, but it was just that little bit easier to roll on and roll off, and made it a little easier on my hands. It went on a little smoother when I was putting it on the customer, and of course doing myself. I liked the results of that because it was slightly easier to put on. It's very similar to the firm, but when I was ordering sugaring, I was using another brand, and I found myself mixing their medium with their firm and kind of making my own little cocktail of medium firm. And so when I created my own sugaring line, the My Gold Sugar, I wanted to have that consistency available so that people didn't have to, you know, have the two different ones just to make their perfect cocktail. So that's my preferred one. It is also a good one to start with, especially if you are doing, let's say you're wanting to start sugaring on your legs, but you're still new to sugaring, and you're not as, maybe you've never even tried doing the flick method where you roll it on, roll off. So the medium firm might be an option there, maybe a little bit better option, because the legs aren't going to be hot, so it's not going to be melting as fast, but it's still going to hold the consistency, so it gives you some time and forgiveness in practicing. And then as you advance and get good with the technique, you might find that a medium or even medium soft will be better for your legs. Plus, I will mention that as you sugar, a lot of times the hair starts growing in less and thinner, and the coarse hairs do get finer. So, you know, as you're doing sugaring, especially on a regular, consistent basis, most people end up switching from the firmers to the softer sugars just because their hair consistency is less coarse, less thick. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well. So that about wraps it up for the firm and medium firm in this video, so stay tuned for the next video. We are going to be talking about the medium soft, the medium, and the soft sugars. Thank you.